Good day, my geographers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grade 12 Geography Cap series. We are continuing with the series, guys. We don't have enough time, so we are really rushing, and hopefully we'll be able to cover every single topic that is remaining. So as you can see in the whiteboard, we are going to cover the 2024 Economic Geography main products or home products that are produced within the country. So locally produced raw materials that are prescribed for the NSC this year, which is beef under agriculture and coal under mining. And before we get into that, let's first take a look at our CAPS document, right? So under economic geography, guys, we did look at the structure of the economy. We did cover the economic sectors, primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary sector, as well as the economic sectors as contribution to the South African economy. So essentially we did cover the structure of the economy, right? So you have to check that out in the economic geography playlist. I think it's the only video there that I have. And in that video, we've also covered under agriculture, we covered the contribution of agriculture generally to the South African economy, the role of small-scale and large-scale farmers, and then the main products produced. This is what we are going to be covering today. And then we also did cover factors that favor and hinder agriculture in South Africa, such as climate, soil, land ownership, and so on and so on. We did cover these. As well as the importance of food security in South Africa, right? Mining too, okay? We've covered mining as well. It's just that we did not take a closer look at the 2024 home products, locally produced raw materials, right? So that's what we are going to be doing today. And then the next videos, there should be 2 more videos, guys, that will cover both the rest of the economic geography as well as the settlement geography, just finishing that up. Right, so without wasting any time, guys, let's get into it. Right, so as you can see, I have beef on the left hand side and coal on the right hand side. I'll start with beef. We'll take a look at the areas of production in South Africa, look at the beef industry in general, its contribution to the South African economy, as well as the factors that affect beef production, both favoring and hindering. And lastly, take a look at the strategies to increase beef production or increase the quality of beef that we produce in the country. Right, so let me zoom in there. So now beef is quite a well-developed industry in South Africa. We actually compete internationally. We produce a huge amount of beef, so we are competitive. It is quite a big industry in South Africa. So beef is produced through beef farming, and beef farming is essentially the breeding of cattle with the aim to sell them or sell the meat, sell the cattle or sell the meat, right? So by breeding, guys, we mean reproducing, right? So you're gonna get a particular bull and a particular cow, and then I take the sperm cell of the bull and fertilize it with the egg cell of the cow, and then I get an offspring there. So that's exactly what we are doing. And you're going to find out that farmers don't just take any bull or any cow. There's proper research that is done so that they produce quality meat. So that is what beef farming is all about, right? Now, beef is a raw material. This beef or this meat will then be sold directly to consumers so that they can consume it, or it can be sold to industries so that they can process it, turn it into different products. Remember, guys, we said when you add value to a raw material, that process is called what? We said it's called beneficiation. Okay, I don't remember quite well. I really hope I did cover that, the term beneficiation. This beef can be sold either to the home market, okay, which is the local market. Okay, so home market, that means we are referring to the people of South Africa, whether they are sellers or they are buyers, that they have to reside locally in South Africa, right? So that is the home market. And then we also sell to international markets. We call those the export markets, right? So beef is exported, okay? So that's what we mean by those two terms, right? So as you can see on the right hand side here, I have the distribution of beef across the country, and it is clear that multiple provinces produce beef, right? So of course they do not produce the same amount of beef, and the stats differ each year. You can look at the numbers in Stats SA. So we have Free State. So Free State does produce beef. Gauteng, we have Mpumalanga, Eastern Cape, KZN, Limpopo, right? So there's quite a number of provinces that take part in beef farming. Some provinces are doing quite well than others, right? Now you're going to find out that the beef industry, the farmers there are divided into two, right? You have commercial farmers, okay? We did talk about this. The large scale farmers, commercial farmers, and we say that you also have non-commercial farmers or small-scale farmers. Going to find out that they see cattle as wealth, such that they are not always willing to sell. So it's not primarily a business, but rather a measure of wealth, okay? And so this means that we do have the potential to produce a lot more beef, but not every farmer is always willing to sell. Maybe these non-commercial farmers or small-scale farmers would sell during holidays, like for an example in December or in June holidays, where you have traditional ceremonies, because in African culture some livestock are used in traditional ceremonies as symbols of sacrifice, and so not every farmer is willing to sell their livestock, okay, right? So that is something to note there on the variety of farmers that we have in the country. Now let's take a look at the contribution of beef farming to the South African economy. First of all, the beef industry contributes to the GDP. Okay, they pay taxes, so that is GDP contribution. Remember, guys, GDP, that is gross domestic product. So if we were to count the number of companies that are involved in beef farming, your company, if you are involved in beef farming, will be counted there as well. So that is an indicator to how the economy of South Africa is looking like. So that is what we mean there by GDP contribution. Beef farming also employs people. You have farm workers that take care of these farms, managers, so on and so on, supervisors. All of those individuals are employed, right? And hence we say beef farming also contributes to the employment of people in South Africa, right? And because beef is food, so this means that the beef industry also contributes to food security. It ensures that we have enough food for everyone in the country. Remember the definition of food security. It contributes to food security. It also is an earner of exchange rate, because you're going to sell to the export market. This means that you're going to receive your income in, for an example, US dollars, and so you're going to earn foreign currency. That's what we mean there. And then lastly, beef farming also contributes to the South African economy by industrial stimulation. So what do we mean there? Beef, guys, we said it is a raw material, and so the secondary sector depends on this raw material in order to thrive. Okay, you have companies that turn beef into, for an example, leather. You have companies that process beef into let's say sausages. Okay, you have companies that exist because they process the beef they receive from beef farmers into the biltong. So all of these products are a result of beef, okay, that was processed. So these companies wouldn't have existed if there was no beef industry. So having a well-developed beef industry also encourages or promotes industrial companies that work with beef to exist and thrive in the country, right? Okay, they don't have to import anything. Beef is locally produced, and so they can exist and process that beef into these products and sell them So adding value to that, again, beneficiation. And so in this way, the beef industry stimulates or promotes the existence of other companies, the processing companies. So that is the contribution of beef farming or the beef industry to the South African economy. Right, now let's take a look at the factors that affect beef production. We'll take a look at both factors that favor beef production. In other words, reasons why you would want to take part or be part or open a company or a business that produces beef. Why would you do that? Okay, so these are the reasons why beef production could thrive or could get better. So let's zoom in there and take a look at these. The first reason is the availability of veterinary services that are provided via government initiatives. So the agricultural department will host or go into these rural areas or farms with their veterinarians, right? So a veterinarian is a medical doctor for animals, right? You usually see this in TV if you watch news, where you have the agriculture department visiting some of these areas with their doctors, having these health checks and giving them doses and advising them, essentially, providing them with information, education on how or what they can do to improve the quality of their beef and what they can do to ensure that they avoid diseases of particular seasons. So that is an important support there from government, having these workshops, these visits. Okay, so this is important to educate the farmers on the dangers and what they can do in order to improve their farming. So the farming techniques as well as free checks of the animals. That's the first point. Another reason is the provision of subsidies. Subsidies, these are your funds, okay, or money that is handed by government to the farmers. Okay, so that they can assist them to buy stock. Okay, in that way they can expand their enterprise, their companies, and also provide them with dosing products, medicine for the cattle to avoid diseases. You have the provision of communal land. Okay, so communal land, this is land owned by the community. Okay, so this makes it easier for an example, a new farmer. We have this huge land, and this land is for the whole community. You can demarcate your land over there, and then they give you for free, and then you can start your enterprise, your business there, your farming, your beef farming company, and just have free land. You don't have to stress about capital to buy land. The land is for everyone. Okay, so that's what we mean there. So that is good for someone who's starting, and it could go a long way. And then we also have increased research. Okay, so the increased research in beef farming, it helps increase beef production and avoids reduction. So there's been a lot of research, agricultural research, that has been done, extensive research on beef farming, the beef industry. So this is where strategies come from, okay? Farming styles, farming techniques that can be applied. They are transferred to these farmers from the research institutions. So that information, that research, those investigations, they lead to solutions, and those solutions are then communicated to farmers, and in that way they can increase their production through specific farming techniques that they can implement, and they can avoid the losses or the loss of animals through diseases by preparing or by adopting particular farming methods. You have a lot of diseases, you have a lot of pests, animals can get mineral deficiencies, so on and so on. So it is important that research is done and that solutions or strategies to issues that are constantly faced by the farming industry are communicated to the farmers. Another reason why I would be part of the beef industry is because, well, the local demand is high. Okay, South Africa is really a meat-loving country. A lot of people consume meat in SA, and so it's good. It makes sense to start a beef company in South Africa. You also have well-built harbors for international export. There also should be infrastructure, right? So there's good infrastructure to transport. Remember, you have to constantly be transporting cattle back and forth. So I'm just gonna write good there. So good infrastructure for transport. Okay, so that can also be a point there or a reason to why I would take part in the beef industry. Okay, so those are the factors favoring beef production. Now let's head on to factors that hinder beef production. What are the reasons why I would say no, I don't want to be part of the beef industry because of this and this and this? So it's because of, first of all, these are cattle, and so they get diseases. Okay, so foot and mouth disease is one of the most common ones. This results in the reduction in production because now you're going to lose these cattle due to these diseases and due to pests as well. They can get sick, and this is not good because now you're going to lose cattle. Business is not going well, and so you might even quit. Another problem is the fluctuating beef price. Okay, beef price is controlled by demand and supply, and so it can go up and it can go down. So the fluctuating, meaning which going up and going down, and so on and so on. It's fluctuating. It negatively affects profitability. Okay, and it's even difficult to plan for the future because you don't know how much beef will be selling in 5 years or so. So the beef price going up and down, that affects profitability. You spend so much money on the feed, on water, on dosing products, and then you find out that when it's time for you to sell these, you're going to get a little amount of money than what you have invested in for so long, right? So that's what we mean there. It negatively affects profitability, so it could lead to a loss. And the communal or small-scale farmers view cattle as a measure of wealth, and they do not sell unless for traditional ceremonies. So we did cover this. So one of the reasons why the beef industry is not growing rapidly is because there are farmers who see cattle as a measure of wealth and not a business. They would always prefer to not sell a lot, or maybe sell some or sell few, because well, that would result in a reduction of their wealth. It is ideal for them to keep the cattle most of the time and not sell many of them, okay, or not sell on a regular basis. You have natural hazards such as drought or floods. These also lower production. So drought, guys, cattle consume a lot of water in one day, and so if you have drought, that means you do not have water. You're going to have to buy water. Cattle are going to get sick, and then you're going to lose them. So it lowers production. Floods occur, and then cattle are drowning, and that's how you lower production. So that's what we mean by natural hazards there. You also have this increase in stock theft and these things of protection fees. Okay, so those really destroy a business, guys. It's so sad that this is happening. There's high fuel costs and transportation. So fuel, it's costly, and because you always have to use transport to transport your animals, transport is costly as well. And so this affects your profitability because this goes into your expenses as a business. Then let's take a look at strategies to increase. How can we increase beef production? See, there's many of these problems here that hinder beef production. And so what can we do to increase beef production, or what can we do to increase the quality of beef? Right. So first things first, government should provide education and skills to farmers to better the quality of beef, to increase beef production. Okay, there should be more initiatives, guys, from the government, And because in this way, more farmers get more knowledgeable. This equips them such that they are able to respond to any setback in their business. So these skills and education that we are referring to here, we're not only referring to the farming techniques, but also the business acumen. We are referring there to business skills. There should be regular vaccination. So farmers should regularly vaccinate their cattle so that they prevent diseases. Okay, so there should be an increase in subsidies to better the mechanization and technology, right? So mechanization and technology nowadays is critical to farming, guys. So the use of GIS, the use of these machines helps improve the quality as well as the numbers. Genetic modification or genetic engineering should be applied to help improve the quality and increase production. So genetic modification, that is you changing the composition or the makeup of genes of particular offspring so that you get the desired characteristics. So if I have, let's say, a quality bull and I want the offspring to have all of these characteristics of this quality bull, so I take its genes, take those genes and insert it into the fertilized egg so that it can also be a quality bull as well. It grows with those genes and it develops those genes of that quality bull. And so it grows and it becomes a quality bull that has all of those characteristics I wanted. And in this way, I am always going to have quality bull, or always going to produce high quality of beef. Okay, so that's what we mean there by genetic modification. There should be an acceleration of the process of land reform. More people should get into beef farming, guys. But the problem now is the issue of land reform. The processes take too long. Black people who were dispossessed of their land during apartheid still have not received that land till now, and that is a huge problem because those could be your potential beef farmers. And so we could have a large number of beef farmers, but because of the slow process of land reform, it's difficult to have more people getting into this. So let's accelerate the process of land reform, get people land through land redistribution, which is providing land to people, and through land restitution, which is restoring land or giving back land that initially belonged to a particular group of people, right? So this could help improve the production or increase or expand the beef industry. There should be an improvement of feeding. Farmers should improve their feed, so that they can produce healthier cattle with high quality of meat there. And there should be regular health checks of cattle. Okay, as we talked about that, should be regular. It shouldn't just be a one-time thing. So the frequency should be increased there. That's what we mean. So yeah, guys, those are your strategies to increase beef production or increase the quality of beef. If you have any more, again, feel free to write those down in the comments below. And so that is beef, guys. Everything that you need to know about beef. In the paper, you are going to be given a case study. Okay, I'm going to give you a case study. Maybe it will have a graph. Maybe it has a bar graph or pie chart or a line graph. And it will show you, let's say, the amount of tons or kilograms of beef produced each year, and they usually start with questions that are based on the case study, and then the last question usually would be the strategies or factors that favor, factors that hinder. Okay, so please watch out for those. That is beef farming. Now let's get into coal. Right, now coal is the prescribed mineral this year, 2024. And it is produced through mining, whether it's underground mining or open shaft mining. Coal is quite abundant in SA as well, and it is mostly produced in Mpumalanga, particularly in the Highveld. So the Highveld is an area, flat area, which is situated around that, something like that, where you have a lot of coal deposits there. Mpumalanga, KZN, Free State, Limpopo, Gauteng, those are the main areas of production. That is where you're gonna get a lot of coal. And contribution of coal mining to the South African economy, of course, is GDP contribution. So these businesses pay taxes. Again, that tax is very useful to the government. GDP contribution, guys, you can never forget that. Employment, okay, a lot of our forefathers have been employed, were employed by these companies that were mining coal. So mining has a history here in South Africa. It is a cornerstone of the South African economy. A lot of cities, a lot of towns developed because of mining. And because these companies needed to transport these minerals, they had to build roads. Okay, so they funded the development of the infrastructure that we see today in South Africa. It was largely due to the minerals that were discovered in the country. So coal mining as well funded the development of infrastructure in the country, as well as industrial stimulation. You have companies that developed because of the discovery of coal. For example, Eskom or Sasol. Sasol makes petrol because of coal. They use coal. Remember, coal is a raw material, okay, and so they process that raw material and turn it into different products. So that's what we mean there. Okay, so the discovery of coal ensured that other industries that worked with coal developed. Okay, and coal mining essentially is important in the generation of power. So it generates electricity, Eskom, as I said, and so it's important to our economy. And we've seen, guys, what load shedding did to the economy of the country. Businesses were closing, so it is critical to our economy, the coal mining there. Yeah, we can also include it played a huge role in developing cities or towns. So that is a good point there. So that is the contribution of coal mining to the South African economy. Now let's quickly take a look at the factors that favor coal production and the factors that hinder coal production. First things first, factors that favor coal production, first of all, is the huge labor force. We know that in South Africa, unemployment rate is high. And so if you are starting out a company that mines coal, you're not going to struggle with employees. There's so many people who are unemployed. And because coal mining does not require, particularly miners, does not require any sort of formal education, and so it makes it easy for you to run the business because you're gonna have people working there who are willing to work there. Okay, so huge labor force is the reason why I would start a coal company. And second of all is the good infrastructure, okay, to transport the coal. So we are referring to the roads, the electricity as well, the power lines, railway lines, and there are large coal deposits. So this means that it is a good long-term investment. We still have loads and loads of it. Even though coal, guys, is not environmentally friendly, but the point is that, well, there are large coal deposits. And then coal is found near the surface, and hence it is not costly. Okay, so it will cost you a lot to get a mineral that is a lot of kilometers beneath the surface, because you have to dig, and that's taking a lot of resources, taking a lot of work, and that will cost you a lot of money. Compare that to a mineral that is close by, that is near the surface. Makes it easy for everything. Okay, means it is relatively cheaper to mine coal. Factors that hinder coal production are the strikes or the labor protests. I don't know if you guys have realized, but every year, there are strikes every year, and it's usually strikes that are initiated by low salaries or lack of increase in salaries, because well, miners work hard and they risk their lives to make these companies richer and richer. These reduce production because during that time when these workers are striking, the company is losing money. It could have made a lot more money. And so this reduces production. This would even push away some investors, foreign investors, because the production is not met due to the constant strikes. There's also fluctuations in coal prices. So coal rises, the price of the coal decreases, then rises tomorrow, and then, as I said, controlled by supply and demand. And so it's hard to plan, to make projections, like plan for the future, what it would look like, how much you guys are going to make. So financially, it's a risky one. It makes it difficult for us to plan and to make financial decisions. It results in a lot of air pollution. Okay, so coal is not environmentally friendly, guys. So these mines, they will dig. Okay, so they are going to have a flat land, and then they dig open. For an example here, the open shaft mining, open the land like that, and they get all of their coal. They get the coal out. And then when they are done, that land is left like that. Okay, so that is a land degradation. Really destroys the land, the natural environment, and remember, that is a habitat, and so you have plant species that are going to be destroyed, because the habitat is destroyed. They are going to chase a lot of animals and plants out, and so that is not good for the environment. That is environmental injustice. Okay, so results in a lot of air pollution and also groundwater pollution, because they use chemicals, they use explosives to open this land up, and so those chemicals will seep into the water tables and eventually into the groundwater, and hence this will affect the quality of water. Okay, so another problem for the companies now is that the long distance to the harbor to export this coal increases the costs. Okay, as I said, guys, you have these coal mines situated there, and so they are going to have to go a long distance to the harbors to transport this coal, ship this coal to other countries. So those transport costs are really high. Okay, so that is not good for business. There are also accidents that occur in these mines, as it is quite a risky job, guys. We've lost a lot of miners in the mining industry, and so it's really bad. So these are the factors that hinder coal production. Then we have strategies then to counteract the environmental injustice, okay, that is associated with coal mining, because they really do a bad job at rehabilitating or recovering the land that they damaged after their operations. So there should be ways or contracts that are written down to say that when we are done with this operation, we are going to ensure that we rebuild that land, or rehabilitate it, make it, or restore it, make it more beautiful than it was before. Try to ensure that the species that were lost during these operations come back. Okay, so make it look beautiful again. Don't leave it like that after you are done. So there should be environmental contracts that are signed there before any operation occurs. There should be afforestation as well. So afforestation, that is planting of trees. Remember, guys, coal mining contributes to air pollution. It contributes to global warming, as it releases carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. And so what can a mining company do to try and offset these carbon emissions that it is responsible for? It should plant more trees. Remember, trees, they consume carbon dioxide. Okay, So that carbon dioxide that is released to make electricity should then be consumed by these trees. So they should plant trees to ensure that the footprint that they have, that they are responsible for, is accounted for. We should find companies responsible for high levels of pollution. Monitor them who's producing how much pollution, and give them fines for damaging the environment without being responsible. We should monitor the revegetation and restoration of fauna and flora after rehabilitation. Okay, it is important that after the land is rehabilitated and turned back into the land, not exactly the land that it was before, but a land that is being improved. Okay, so they should plant trees and ensure that the environment is restored. And so there should be monitoring of this process, okay, to ensure that it has been done, to ensure that they have indeed restored these. So there should be research that is done to observe the fauna, the animals and plants that are there today, and how much this environment has improved indeed after rehabilitation. Okay, so that is the video that I have for today, guys. The 2024 economic main products, the beef and the coal. Right, so I will still have 2 more videos to do, and I will ensure that I will upload them before you're right. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, share, comment.